We do hear the in-game sound, so we're just about to jump into our game number 1 of the second set of the day. VortiX with the French against MarineLorD's Chinese here. Typical opening so far with MarineLorD, going for that straggler tree, then opening up with a mill that's being supervised by an Imperial official. It's probably going to be a village build with the next villager. And VortiX on the opposite side with the French. Going for the gold early on, as is typically seen with the French, makes his house next to the gold, and just going to be your standard fast feudal age build coming out from him.
Yeah, it's always going to be kind of how the Chinese player wants to play it. I feel like French dictates the pace with their knights and with their map control, but China is really going to dictate how the game proceeds, whether they're going 1TC all in, going for this Song Dynasty push, or whether going for that 2TC kind of play.
Yeah, and as Vodka just pointed out, did you see that awesome second TC spot for VortiX? Both the deer right next to each other, close to a gold mine and next to berries. That is just prime second TC material right there. That's a really long-lasting food source for him. And there's also Born not too far away from him. This is just a SS plus spot for, like S tier spot for a second TC.
Yeah, especially for the French, as all you see when you're playing French is things in terms of knights, and that's food and gold, which means knights. So this will be perfect for VortiX and this kind of second TC, if that is his desire here.
Yeah, the deer on the other side, though, for MarineLorD, they're a little bit further apart from each other, from opposite side of his base, meaning that they could very easily be denied here by VortiX. I mean, this is often what we see in this matchup, that the French player is going to be able to deny the deer the external resources away from the Chinese player. Many times it all comes down to how the Chinese player is going to be reacting to that. Is the Chinese player going to get enough sheep in order to sustain that early foods kind of scenario where he needs that a lot of food there in order to survive? Or is he going to run out before he's going to be able to secure these external food sources? And now we see VortiX going up with only 3 villagers on the School of Cavalry, already making his lumber camp right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think this is going to be a 2TC opening with a single knight first.
Yeah, it's one of those that you force Chinese to react a little bit. It will delay their kind of ideas and plays. It looks like MarineLorD starting to move out maybe for that, Barbican to protect the secondary food sources and kind of just give that positioning point for his woodlines as well.
Yeah, and he's bringing back 12 sheep to his starting mill. That's a lot of sheep, and that also means it's going to be a lot of tanks that he's going to be getting from them. Barbican of the Sun being built right now by 2 villagers. So, yeah, MarineLorD actually rushing that up a little bit faster than you would usually do. Just a little bit afraid of what those early knights could do from VortiX. But VortiX, he's playing this with, it looks like, more of an economic approach.
Yeah, this is one of the matchups that you see the Barbican being dropped first instead of the Imperial Academy, as you cannot risk having your Barbican not in a primetime positioning point. That is how I constantly see China lose this matchup time and time again, is because their Barbican is not protecting up the resources that they need.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to judge just which resources are exactly going to be more critical for you to have. But this Barbican is in a really good spot. Not only is it going to be protecting his main food sources, his berries, his sheep, it's also going to be protecting the deer and also part of the woodline. So overall, it's going to be protecting all of the resources that MarineLorD is going to need to, in case this goes for like a more of a feudal age kind of push here from VortiX to defend himself.
Yeah, but as you said from VortiX, it does look like he is going for that one knight into a 2TC play. He is getting wheelbarrow with it, as it's much cheaper for the French, can get that quite easily. And MarineLorD making sure to do some scouting. He's just now seeing the TC gold spot that we want VortiX to drop that secondary TC, and so I'm sure MarineLorD probably spots that same exact idea.
Yeah, I mean, VortiX is definitely going to need this, because MarineLorD, even after this big first sheep haul, he just finds 3 additional sheep right now. So food-wise, MarineLorD is in a really comfortable position right now. Knight is out on the map trying to find some damage here, but he's approaching from the side where the Barbican is, now actually changing course. The correct decision for him right now should be just to hover around that stone mine, maybe hit some villagers on the gold, as he's just found villagers there with the scout. And just try to keep MarineLorD from booming at the same time with a second TC of his own.
Yeah, MarineLorD, though, getting perfect vision of that scout, knows exactly where, or of that knight, knows exactly where it is. And the scout for VortiX still circling, trying to find a spot to poke and prod. But you can just see how efficient the Chinese buildings do at just defending the whole entire base.
Yeah, exactly. Now, second TC is soon going to be coming out here for VortiX. He only needs a couple more resources. Knight is hovering around now. Gonna be circling all the way around. Now, MarineLorD, he's only building his Imperial Academy with a single villager, so Song Dynasty timing is a little bit late for him. He's gonna be using these early spearmen on the stone mine in order to protect that, and then he'll probably go for a second TC of his own. He can definitely afford that just based on the amount of absurd sheep that he was able to gather this game so far.
Yeah, as far as the timings go, VortiX is not complaining about what's gone on so far, except for the sheep, obviously. The timing, though, TC is already going down. MarineLorD, not even Song Dynasty, as that TC is almost, you know, getting pretty close to finishing on up. So VortiX not really ever having this TC timing deficit of villager count, always getting that extra bit of villager lead against MarineLorD.
Yeah, and with 3 spearmen now being there next to the stone mine, MarineLorD finally feels comfortable enough to send villagers out towards it. He already has all the wood that he needs in order to get that second TC up. He's going to be sending how many villagers out? Is that 10, 12? 12 villagers onto stone right now, just in order to get that stone as soon as possible. Wait, no, that's even more than 12, isn't it? It's like 15.
I think it's
no, it is 12.
It's 12. The 3 spearmen, it's 15, and not only is it 12, it's also the IO supervising it. So those 12 working that much more efficiently. Spears doing a great job pushing the scout, pushing the knight on away. Just a bit of idle time caused. The question is where is this secondary TC spot going to be? Just next to the original TC, like we see China do a lot, or will he try to, you know, maybe drop it a little bit further out?
I think he might want to place it a little bit more safe right now. There aren't really any too great position. Oh, that's not worth it. The knight goes down for a single villager kill there. Does have to hurt right now for VortiX. I mean, he did kill a villager, but right now, villager-wise, MarineLorD still fairly close. Only 2 villagers behind, even though the TC from VortiX has been up now for a little bit.
Yeah, 12 villagers, a little bit too many to dive with your knight. As great surround. MarineLorD moving out to drop the secondary TC far out onto Deer, as now he has that security of knowing that first knight went down.
Yeah, no knight being there to stop that TC from being really greedy. Not only is it next to Deer, but also next to Berry Spot, and yeah, the TC acting as a drop-off point for the Texas as well is going to mean that this is really efficient for MarineLorD dropping it like that. But then again, this gives VortiX an attack point to focus on, because it doesn't look like VortiX is going to go for Castle Age behind this. He's on a second TC and he's going to go full in aggression next.
If I know VortiX, he spots out this secondary TC, which he already has spotted out, and he is going to drop an absurdly quick Rams, probably, knowing him. He's going to go Knight Archer, and he's just going to all in this secondary TC spot, exactly where you said. It gives a vulnerable point to attack now.
Yeah, Blacksmith not out yet, but probably being built as we speed right now. And let's see, is there a Blacksmith in the base? There it is.
Sure enough, it is, and I guarantee you we're going to start seeing some upgrades coming out soon, as VortiX is all about these timing pushes.
Can we take a look at the base of MarineLorD? Does he have any other production buildings out right now aside from that that barracks that he put up earlier? Are there any horsemen coming out, or
ooh, it's the triple range? Triple range for that Chook Mass. Knight circling around on the gold, but the villages there easily going to be able to jump inside. This is just so nice, again, about the Chinese civilization, having those villages. It's basically like an extra outpost over there.
Yeah, exactly. A spot with 8 slots inside. Knight gets a couple of hits from the spearman. Now at low HP, is gonna have to be careful in how he wants to dive onto those villagers. Probably will have to retreat here. Lots of villagers out there now on that secondary TC from MarineLorD, and VortiX is gonna have to think about how he wants to engage us. He didn't grab siege engineering yet, I think.
No, prioritizing some of those ranged upgrades first, as I will say, if you are massing up archers, that's great, but usually against some Chooks, you will need to prioritize ranged armor first.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting the ranged damage upgrade in first. Definitely ranged armor needed as soon as possible here. MarineLorD already sitting on 5 Shuganu right now. Mass just gonna be starting to build up further and further with these 3 ranges that he has. Definitely not playing this too greedy, but VortiX Archer numbers are really, really strong right now. Knight just being chased by all these infantry right now.
Oh, he's down at 2 health. Villager coming out. Oh! I was going to say the Villager, I think, would have killed it with his Shiv potentially, but the Chooks closed down the gap. Were able to get the kill. Ranged armor coming in for VortiX. Next up after that, will we see some Rams? It's another Stables. So wanting to get some more cavalry against the Chook mass.
Yeah, more and more villagers being sent though from VortiX out onto wood. He probably only has a single TC, like both his TCs, like one TC is sending all villagers over to food, the other one is sending all villagers over to wood. He has enough villagers on gold in order to sustain night production. Scout is going to be able to scout out the army here from VortiX. VortiX doesn't have a scout with his main army. Where's the scout from VortiX? There it is.
Yeah, just now regroups with the main mass here. Some additional forward walls being dropped from MarineLorD, who is trying to just make sure his base is gonna be nice and well defended, and he does have a Chook mass to defend it.
Yeah, and he was able to mass them up really, really quick. VortiX's Archer numbers looked really solid, but now the Shuganu numbers from MarineLorD could be really, really dangerous for him. And now Shuganu firing on top of the Knights, firing on top of the Archers. Archers have to be careful here.
Yeah, all VortiX wants to do is make sure to try to take down the spears, but he needs to be careful because if he focuses the spears too much and allows the Chooks to close the gap, his Archer number is going to disappear.
Yeah, and Scout got killed, and this is a little bit bad here right now for VortiX. With the Scout dead, he doesn't have as much vision as he would like to have. Now onto the berries here for MarineLorD. Is going to be able to supervise those as well. It's going to get a lot of food from that. Looking at its food income right now, sitting at over 1,000 food per minute currently.
Yeah, he wanted to dive out on these deer, but no villagers on the deer as MarineLorD. He has so much food with that secondary TC location, and more importantly, with what was it, 16 sheep from the start of the game?
Yeah, he's just feeling really, really good right now. The important thing for VortiX right now is he can't let the Shuganu outmass him too much. He's loading a lot of wood right now. Might be looking to drop some Rams here at some point, but he does need to keep up with the Archer production. Because the Shuganu, they're just going to keep climbing and climbing with the mass, and once it gets too far, it's going to be really, really tough to take any positive engagements against him. And now, big army here from MarineLorD against VortiX.
Villagers jump inside. Not only is there a TC there, the village is there as well to allow another spot for the villagers to jump inside. MarineLorD heading on away, but jumps right back out for the berries as now his army is there to defend. Main fight going in. Spear step up to brace for the charge of the Knights and force the Knights on away, which you can just see how much damage those Chooks are actually able to do to.
Yeah, I mean, VortiX, he's still floating a lot of resources right now. Definitely has to make use of these resources soon if he wants to keep up with the army count from MarineLorD, which just keeps climbing and climbing right now, sitting on 43 military compared to 33. Now, VortiX, obviously, he has the Knights, which are a really, really high-value unit, but the Shuganu, in big enough numbers, are going to be able to take really good fights against the Knights as well.
Yeah, VortiX just barely dropped those Rams inside of the vision range of MarineLorD, so MarineLorD reacts. He's dropping double barracks, needs to make sure to defend up this push, but this might actually be a Castle Age timing push. Oh, Royal Institute instead. Were Rams just canceled and he traded it off?
Maybe he made a market in order to click up here. This is actually really surprising now. Royal Institute is going to be coming in, but I feel like MarineLorD, he's not going to be far off by to Castle Age by a lot at least. Going to be wondering if VortiX is going to be able to find that timing with the Royal Bloodlines and going to be able to take a good fight here.
Chook step up, able to get one of those Knights down for free. Second one not quite able to be finished off, but you just saw, I think it was 2 volleys kills a Knight with that many Chooks.
Yeah, it's really, really quickly. I mean, the Knight has 190 HP. These Shuganu, 45 Shuganu, they do 120-ish damage with their shots with each volley, so 2 volleys definitely enough to kill a Knight.
God. And that's just where, you know, VortiX not easily going to be able to take these kind of poke and prod engagements. He will need to dive or else the Chooks will thin out his mass a little too much. Castle Age has finished. MarineLorD stepping up with his army. It's 78-38 right now, and VortiX might just be worried.
Yeah, VortiX is getting all the upgrades right now that it needs. There's no Royal Bloodlines yet in queue for him. Wouldn't probably finish before the fight is going to commence. And I mean, the military mass right now is scary. An astronomical clock tower is going up behind this. MarineLorD, if he supervises his production buildings, that's going to be really, really scary. Now, the upgrades are going to be coming in. Really important is that the +2 armor finishes. As soon as that finishes, I think he should be able to take a fight now against the Shuganu. Even with the archers, the Shuganu aren't going to be able to deal with the archers nearly as fast as they were able to previously. But now supervision is probably going to be coming in here soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the upgrades came through for VortiX, but he is just lacking in this mass. Spots out the mass from MarineLorD, wants to take the dive and does exactly that. Spears, though, stepping back forward. Chuk's circle kiting on back on away, but no upgrades through and available for MarineLorD yet as this main engagement's happening. Chuk's just still firing down, just doing exactly what they need to do. The Knights trying to close the gap. There's still a healthy amount alive, still a good amount firing down, but they have spears on top. Spears that won't be alive in this world for long.
Yeah, but the Knight numbers is thinning out, and there's still plenty of Shuganu out there right now. The upgrade, I think, actually got cancelled on the spears here by MarineLorD. Shuganu upgrade is still researching. Knights are chasing the Shuganu. Shuganu being able to kite relatively efficiently here, taking down a lot of the Knights here. HP getting lower and lower on these Knights. Archers are finally able to close the gap, able to take good shots on the Shuganu, but Knights, they're 2 full HP Knights right now. Now that the numbers have fallen with the Shuganu counts, it's not as easy for them as it was to take them out. Spearman coming in from behind, focusing the archers initially, now going back onto the Knights, and Shuganu pushing the Knights away. MarineLorD is going to be able to hold this with a really good villager lead right now, sitting at 15 villagers ahead of VortiX.
Yeah, it was a good attempted timing by VortiX with that fight, and the trade went pretty well for him, all things considered, but MarineLorD just showing the power of Chinese, showing why this civilization is talked about so much, and it just, you know, like a blink of an eye, he had 78 military, was pushing up, and still able to castle behind it with some immaculate timing.
Yeah, and all just kind of came down to VortiX not being able to get a lot of damage onto MarineLorD early on. That's really what it tends to be all about with the Chinese when you play against them. Not being able to like harass early on. I personally think that it's really important early on to get like an offensive outpost up against the Chinese. You really need to do pressure from Feudal Age on, and just that not happening here this game means that now VortiX is going to be on the back foot here when it comes to the army, when it comes to his options in this game. More and more archers being pushed out, Royal Bloodlines now finally in queue for VortiX. But is he going to have what it takes in order to do a big push here onto MarineLorD? Looking at the overall economy income right now, it's looking really, really bad for VortiX. And that's just because MarineLorD, he had so many sheep in this game and subsequently also managed to delay his walk onto the deer. I think he's only just now started going to the deer and also does a granary transition at the same time. He's looking really, really solid right now when it comes to his food income.
Yeah, I mean, MarineLorD, he's made that full granary transition. He's made that full wall build around his base. So now this Chinese eco that is just a powerhouse is fully online and basically up and booming. And now China gets to do everything that they want to do with this game, which is, I guess we're going to see some palace guards, maybe? No, but my guess is going to be some siege and more siege coming out.
Yeah, definitely an option if MarineLorD wants to go for a slower push. Definitely has to make sure that he's not getting caught off guard now. The Knights are going to be trying to circle around and try to go from an opposite side here to find some damage. And I mean, VortiX behind this, he did manage to get a keep up on his production buildings. So his production buildings are now heavily discounted. All the units that he's going to be producing are going to be costing a lot less resources now. Knights are going to be running into the economy, but no scout with them means that he's not going to have a lot of information as to where to find damage.
Yeah, and again, they pick up one Vil and then they run into a bunch of spears. They're still taking damage from the Barbican as well. They do find all of these Vils on the wood line, but again, we're starting to see the Vils used as military, used as just an annoyance to do some body blocking, and another Knight gets circled.
Yeah, Knight's going down there, but the mass from VortiX, it's still climbing, and right now it's all mostly just these high-quality units, Knights and upgrade archers. MarineLorD behind is actually grabbing a lot of the relics. 3 out of the 5 relics on the map now going the way of MarineLorD, and China with 3 relics can become really, really scary should it get to Yuan Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, the gold in the bank for MarineLorD is just absurd right now. I feel like China, they're such a gold-heavy civilization, and he's got all that gold to do whatever he wants with.
Yeah, you're not spending a lot of the gold early on. Jugunu are fairly inexpensive, and he doesn't have a lot of things to spend the gold on, so it just passively accumulates from a couple of gold villagers and the taxation that he's getting from his Imperial officials. Relic is going to get secured now behind this army mass. Archer is actually doing a really good job at taking down the Jugunu now from the range.
That extra little bit of range just does so much for these higher elo players who can utilize that bit of range difference. Great spear brace by MarineLorD there, able to pick up a few more knights, which is just so costly.
Yeah, these knights being really, really expensive, but they're still discounted, so it's not the worst here for VortiX. What he needs to do right now is he needs to get some keeps out on these like large stone mines right now, maybe even not stone mines, but on these large gold mines on the map. Take map control, do secure his gold income along the game. Also, he has his farm transition happening right now, which already came in for MarineLorD. If he manages to secure map control and not have MarineLorD push that back from him, get that back from him, he's going to be in okay position. Now, MarineLorD is making more and more Jugunu now behind this. Farm transition almost being complete here. In a really good spot right now. Economy upgrades also looking good for MarineLorD here. A little bit lacking for VortiX. He is just now starting to research his tier 2 food upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Chinese feels like they can start pushing out on the map, it's always a bad time when you're the other civilization, and that is exactly what MarineLorD is doing with his main mass, starting to press out on the map a little bit, but VortiX, he's taking that map control, not with keeps onto the gold, like you said, but he's dropping a keep on that sacred site.
Yeah, to be fair, the golds here are really oddly positioned for him. One is right in front of MarineLorD's base, the other is in the corner, which is also a little bit closer to MarineLorD. Wololo happening! Does it go off? Doesn't get it. Oh, that was really close.
Not quite able to get one of those knights, or any of the knights, and the knights finding that main wood line as he spotted it earlier once a couple of those got circled, and there's not too many spears here this time to defend up this night dive.
And these also aren't crossbows. These are Jugunu, so they don't do that much damage to these knights. The knights can do a lot of damage here to the economy from MarineLorD. A lot of villagers going down right now. Knights definitely finding their value this time. Now the spearmen are finally here in order to save the day. But a lot of the villagers just went down. MarineLorD just lost like 13 villagers there and an Imperial official.
Yeah, in the blink of an eye, VortiX evens up the economy counts. And not only that, there's still 3 knights that are about to dive this gold and granary eco here. So even more damage, as I'm sure there's going to be at least, 5 or so more vills that are go down here.
Exactly, going on to the economy here. A lot of units, a lot of villagers are going to be pulled now by MarineLorD. He is getting close to age up though, and he did prepare the wall for the Great Stone Wall Gatehouse. Once that goes up, it's going to mean that these farms are going to be really, really tough to raid, because that gatehouse means serious, serious business.
Yes, it does, and the Great Wall Gatehouse is being dropped while these couple knights are still here. Couple more vills still going down. VortiX going to struggle to make this timing push with the walls that are already up and the build speed of Chinese.
Yeah, he did cost a really, really significant amount of idle time on the food economy from MarineLorD, but the gold bank is just so big, and now the economy is starting to get going again for MarineLorD. He's also securing up a large gold mine here with the keep, and this is going to be really tough. Without siege, VortiX is not going to be able to push this at all.
Yeah, and the granary eco will be fully safe once that Great Wall Gatehouse goes up. But what about the other eco? Is his wood lines going to be safe? Is the gold mines going to be safe? As he does have 2 golds still right near that, and just secured up the 8k in the south.
Yeah, the 8k is definitely going to be secure with that keep without there being any siege right now out on the field from VortiX. But the main army, it's also looking really, really dangerous from MarineLorD. It's really tough to push into that. And now Great Wall Gatehouse getting a good shot on those knights, and now the knights, they're a little bit trapped up here right now.
Yeah, they don't know where to go. They are inside the walls of MarineLorD. There's a TC. There's additional stone walls going down. More vills being pulled. He can easily quick wall this. Is he gonna do it? A couple more taps coming in. He doesn't get over to it in time, so the knights at least get through, and at least will find a little bit more damage before they fall.
Red Palace behind us being dropped by VortiX now. It's gonna get dropped firmly in the middle next to that big sacred site. Just a little bit. There they go. Villagers are now going to be starting to build it. Just been next to the other keep. Rams are being denied here by the villagers and some knights.
MarineLorD still getting this eco hit from these knights that are, you know, will fall, but they are paying off. And more importantly, they're forcing how many units from MarineLorD in the backside of his base? That's like 35 units chasing VortiX's main army. Or not even main army, sorry, 3 knights.
Yeah, but this is really, really stressful right now for VortiX because he's going to get into a position soon where MarineLorD is going to be able to start raiding. Right now, MarineLorD is in Song Dynasty. He could easily go up to Yuan Dynasty right now. Then, once he has Yuan Dynasty, he has that Imperial Palace. And with the Imperial Palace, he's going to be able to see all the villagers from VortiX out on the map. So this is really the crucial timing right now that the enemy player from the Chinese is going to have to use and get some stone walls up themselves. Because if they're not stonewalled when that landmark goes up, it's going to be really, really hard to defend against all these raids coming in.
And we see the sacred site timer starting to tick down. It's a 10-minute push for MarineLorD to take back one of these. I know VortiX has a keep on the top. I know he has his red palace and keep on the south, or on the middle, but the south one is going to be the struggle point for VortiX to hold.
Yeah, VortiX is gathering more stone right now, so I think he's definitely thinking about dropping another keep down there. He really has to do that soon. MarineLorD is now pushing up. Maybe he wants to go and contest that keep on top, or maybe even just push into the economy from VortiX. He's sending all of his spearmen in that general direction. Does VortiX... Yeah, he does have boiling oil. It's now dropping also a lot of stables around that, getting that discount from that keep influence as the French. VortiX seems to be keeping track of the army from MarineLorD right now. He does have his archers following them at distance. And now the spearmen are a little bit out of position here. Might get caught off by the archers now.
Yeah, the horsemen actually are the ones that show their face first. MarineLorD steps up, and then the archers, they close the gap. They get an extra couple shots on in. MarineLorD trying to drop some outposts, get a little bit of extra vision for himself, and push out forward a little bit.
Yeah, now the Imperial Palace is going to be coming in. Once that gets dropped, that means that VortiX is going to have to worry about all of his villagers, because then MarineLorD's going to know exactly where they are, and he's going to be able to direct his raids perfectly as long as there aren't any stone walls coming up.
Yeah, really good job by VortiX, though, taking this map control, taking this timing that MarineLorD was in his base to drop keeps on all the sacred sites, give himself this win condition. The problem is, you're playing against Chinese, the powerhouse, late game, siege, civilization, and we are in late game.
Yeah, I think stone walls are coming in right now for VortiX on that northern side. It's going to have to do something about the southern side, though. He did drop a keep down there. Red Palace, though, is going to be able to definitely defend this this spot here. Doesn't have any units inside the Red Palace for now, but just having the Red Palace in general means that every single keep gets an Arbaletier. And that does an Arbalest, and that means it does 60 damage every single time. It means it's going to be really, really hard for these bombards even to take down the keeps.
Yeah, it makes this so much harder, and this is where, you know, VortiX, again, giving himself this win condition, giving himself this opportunity to get this timing and put the pressure onto MarineLorD.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be necessary. Now, VortiX, he's still paying attention to the Spearman army from MarineLorD. He's going to be sending his archers after them once again. Walls did come in here on the side, meaning that the units are going to have to take a suboptimal path to that. Bombard once again has to retreat in the middle of the map. MarineLorD now seems to be pushing onto the bottom sacred side here. Is going to find, though, that there is a keep over there. And units that try to decap that are going to get taken down.
Yeah, they slow down the timer a little bit. He tried to go for the north one as well, and so just kind of this three-pronged attack all together, but VortiX, he was ready for it. Main mass there, here in the middle. The cannon gets taken down by the keep, and the archer and arb mass on the top side is just doing their exact job, just firing off those incendiary arrows and push MarineLorD back away.
This is also a little bit of a weakness of the Palace Guards, right? They have one less armor than any other man-at-arm in the game, and now with the incendiary arrows, these archers are actually going to be able to take really good shots against them.
Yeah, VortiX still allowing this timer to keep ticking down. It's to 6 minutes and 20 seconds. He's dropping a secondary keep on the southern sacred site just to protect that one up a little more. He does have stone walls in the north, at least somewhat stone walls in the north.
Yeah, might want to look towards securing that up a little bit more, just forcing the engagement more towards the middle where that red palace is. And I mean, MarineLorD right now, what is he going for? He's making more and more palace guards right now. There's a ton of horsemen out, which are going to be acting as a really, really good meat shield for VortiX right now. It's going to be really, really tough for MarineLorD to push this back, and VortiX, he's got himself into a really good position right now to potentially take this game.
Yeah, Palace Guard stepping on up, the range mass stepping on up as well. MarineLorD, he has the siege, but he needs to be so careful with that siege with how many horsemen VortiX has. He's got 55 in queue as well with this.
Yeah, all of them significantly cheaper than normal horsemen. And now the Nest of Beasts, though, are doing their job there. Archers trying to take a fight against Palace Guards. There's some artillery in there, but not enough. More in the queue right now for VortiX. And I mean, the horsemen, they're just streaming out right now. Finally going to be able to take down one of the Nest of Beasts here.
They changed fire. They didn't take it down.
Ooh, such low HP, and now the shots are going to keep coming. And it looks like MarineLorD is going to focus aside on that North Sacred side, and finally, first Nest of Beasts is going to get taken down here.
Not only the first, second one falls right after that as well. The main front line looked like it has kind of somewhat disappeared, but those Palace Guards are pushing into that Northern Sacred Site. VortiX, though, is pushing MarineLorD back yet again. Numbers heavily in his favor as far as the military count goes.
Exactly, and right now there's a single ram trying to compete against that keep in the north. And now finally the artillery are here. That's a lot of artillery being able to take down all of these palace guards with ease. Keep gets repaired in the north, and VortiX right now, he's holding this, and MarineLorD, he has to do something. He's prepping some siege workshops in the south. Might want to try and take that that keep down with a lot of rams potentially. First trebuchet now coming out as well.
He's
Units firing on top of each other.
Going for a keep to try to secure up this positioning, secure up a spot for his siege, but the siege still getting dove on by all of those horsemen from VortiX, and VortiX is the one who's dropping another more forward keep, but this allows MarineLorD a path to maybe the Northern Sacred Site, so that's going to be his main focus.
Exactly, and now MarineLorD is diving onto that Sacred Site with a lot of units right now. But VortiX, he's hot on pursuit, and as soon as VortiX gets some units on there, he's going to be able to contest that Sacred Site. I mean, the keep is still going to be really, really tough for MarineLorD to get rid of. And the unit count here right now is still really heavily in VortiX's favor, and MarineLorD has to be really careful with the siege.
Yeah, and the great thing for him is he has those stables around that keep as well. So if MarineLorD steps up or doesn't position himself at all, the siege or the cavalry jumps in, clears up the siege. Look at the ranged mass, though. That is the main DPS right now. As long as the ranged mass from VortiX can stay alive, that is his key, and still diving more and more of the siege.
Yeah, VortiX really needs to watch out, though. He's completely, or going to be completely out of gold soon. Now, he does have 3 Sacred Sites and a single relic, which gives him a lot of passive gold, but that's all the gold that he's getting right now. He dropped a keep next to the gold mine there, but there's a keep, I think, that's somewhat in range of that. Actually, there's an outpost there, killing a lot of his villagers on that gold, so he needs to be careful with that. Still lots of horsemen in the queue if he's just able to hold this.
2.5 minutes left. The time is coming. The time is about to be now. It's gonna be pulling the boys here soon enough, I'm sure. But the next push forward for MarineLorD falls again and again. He doesn't have spears to protect the siege. It's all palace guards. So the horsemen run right by, and then they kill yet another nest of bees and go head for the trebuchets.
There's still so many artillery in the queue for VortiX, just so much production happening for him right now. MarineLorD, he just doesn't have what it takes in order to break through this. He's making Nest of Bees, he has 3 on the field, but there's 65 horsemen in the queue right now for VortiX. He has what it takes to snipe these Nest of Bees at any point in time, and he's repairing the keep. Only a single trebuchet means that that keep is very easily repaired.
Yeah, MarineLorD just doesn't have the numbers here yet. Never got that huge Chinese siege ball together. Never really had the protection for it as he tried a 3-pronged attack at one point, but was met with keep after keep after keep.
It looks like MarineLorD is now focusing on that southern sacred side, and double keeps are getting dropped now. Now there are 2 keeps here from VortiX. Rams coming out from MarineLorD as well. Is this going to be enough? VortiX does have villagers there to defend that.
I don't know, boiling oil, able to get some extra damage down soon. Villagers being pulled. He wasn't on top of the sacred site, so he wasn't starting to delay it from that initial push. Rams are on top. Rams do stall out the sacred site, and you can see how the timer is not ticking. That's the key for MarineLorD right now. He fast builds the keep with all those vills. The keep goes up.
Villagers go onto the sacred site in order to delay that even further, or at least to try to stop the decap from happening, trying to take down the Rams now. And I mean, even if the Rams are gone, it's only a minute. If he's able to hold for just a minute, he can just send his horsemen over there. The 3 keeps, if he's able to tank all of their DPS, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be able to save at least a single keep here. Actually might be able to save the second one. Ram is taking shots against it. Is also at the same time protecting the other sacred side. He's stretched really, really thin right now. Might need to pull some villagers. Keep does go down, but sacred side is going to be safe for now.
There's no way he can hold this with triple keeps up, and those aren't regular keeps. Those are Chinese keeps. They're going to obliterate it, but he is mass streaming horsemen into this. Every unit he puts on it will end up dying, but maybe now MarineLorD uses this as the fallback point and goes in for another one, but everything is getting pulled to that southern keep. He's going all in for it. He's ready.
He's trying to defend this. Only 45 seconds remaining. Is MarineLorD now switching focus again to the northern keep, to the northern sacred side? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's committing to that southern sacred side. He has 3 keys right next to it. I probably can't believe that he's not able to take this right now. Trying to get the bombard emplacements on it, but the bombard emplacements aren't even going to finish by the time that the sacred side timer finishes. VortiX at the same time. I think he's pulling all of his villagers onto that northern sacred side to make sure that that one is not going down.
And the southern, he's pulling all the boys. This is going to be it. 15 seconds left. All MarineLorD needs to do is stall this out for a little bit, but it's going to be so hard to stall, and he forfeits. VortiX with the timing of the sacred sites. No one would have believed it at one point in this game, but he takes the victory.
French winning against Chinese probably for the first time in this tournament, and it was just so incredibly well played here by VortiX. Look at that villager count looking really good there for MarineLorD. VortiX getting a couple of raids in there time and time again, but nothing too major, and the economy was mostly untouched for both of these players, and all just came down to that sacred side play with all the keeps here by VortiX, with that red palace, with the arbalest placement that they have on them, and taking a really decisive victory here against MarineLorD. In these best of 3, these first games matter so much, because now VortiX is going to be the one on match point. Is he going to be the first one to take a set away from MarineLorD in this tournament?
God, that was unreal, Al, how VortiX was able to pull that out. I felt like there was a point in the game where it all shifts over to Chinese, and it felt like it did. But VortiX, he saw timing, he saw something he could take advantage of, and that was the sacred site.
Just absolutely incredibly well played here by VortiX. And now we're going to be able to look at our next set that we're going to be having here. It's going to be on the pit, and it's going to be the Ruse against the Holy Roman Empire from VortiX. And I gotta say, the Ruse on the pit with these woodlines can be quite scary.
Yeah, this is just how we said MarineLorD was favored in that last matchup with Chinese versus French. I would say the same when it comes to Ruse versus the HRE, but VortiX was just able to show us a little bit of an upset as far as the civs go, and let's see if we can see it here again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the pit, it's a really can be a really focused map. I mean, Sacred Site is definitely a possibility on the pit as well. It's not too hard to wall off these different sides. And yeah, could be a possibility here with the HRE. But in this matchup, Ruse against the HRE, we've seen the Kremlin time and time again, and that's just such a good landmark at denying, or rather delaying, the HRE ever since we've seen that play. I feel like before that, HRE used to be a little bit favored here against Ruse when it comes to like the timing, age-ups, and whatnot. But ever since the Kremlin, with these Gremlins coming out and being able to put up so much pressure on the HRE for pretty much free, we've seen the Ruse just pulling ahead more and more often in these matchups. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how MarineLorD could get any value here and just be able to put himself in an advantageous position now.
Yeah, it's one of those that, as you said, the meta definitely shifted further and further and further into Ruse's favor. The Kremlin, the militia, they just delay HRE's timings just enough to where the Ruse are able to kind of pull on ahead, whether it's by walling in the relics and then securing up themselves, whether it's pressuring in feudal age, or whether it's just hitting their castle timing and utilizing their castle advantage with what they utilize it for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looking at the remaining civs right now as well for these players, but no, looks like we don't have the time for that. It looks like our game is starting right now.
Oh.
Actually, oh,
Oh, a little bit of a
oh, all
change
right.
up. We wanted to check and see what other games we have in store for us today, as yes, this is only the second matchup so far.
Yeah, after this one, we still have plenty of games. So we see here on the bottom left side, Sunday, June 4th. We're currently in our second set here, MarineLorD versus VortiX, after which we will bring you Demu versus Puppy Paw, followed by Lucifron versus B, and last but not least, it's gonna be MarineLorD versus Beastie.
Yeah, a battle of the top players as far as the standings go, as far as now goes. But right now, MarineLorD down a game against VortiX in this set. And can VortiX just be the one to make this tournament all that much more interesting?
Yeah, VortiX. I mean, this first game just really incredibly well played by him. Is MarineLorD going to be able to force this into a game number 3, or can VortiX finish it off with a 2-0 against our seed number 1 player right now?
Yeah, he's definitely a player who has that capability at any point in time. But as we can see, we're initiating overlay. We are about to jump right on into that excitement.
Yeah, just gonna be a couple of seconds until we hear those in-game sounds. We will know that the scouts are out on their way to collect that sheep, and that second game of this set is gonna be happening. And here we go. Game number 2 about to start for you. We do hear these in-game sounds. The scouts are out and about, and we're getting into it right now. Here we go. MarineLorD in the color red, playing as the Ruse on the pit. And on the opposite side, we have VortiX in the color blue, playing as the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, and we've been seeing this from MarineLorD a lot more lately, especially when it comes to this map. Just double hunting cabin opening, you get so much gold income. Each of those is going to be, 30 or so gold. It's basically a relic in the bank from minute 1.
Yeah, this is like discount Marlians if you think about it. But yeah, he's getting a lot of gold from that. And this also means that he's not going to have to worry about when he's going to be clicking his wheelbarrow, as some other players might have had to in the past. VortiX also doing a good job here, denying some of the deer. MarineLorD also out and about on the map right now, getting a lot of the sheep once again, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. And that one of the things I always kind of like to mention when casting against the Ruse or the Ruse in general is when you're scouting out against them, you have this opportunity cost. Are you wanting to go for sheep? Or are you wanting to counteract your bounty? Or a little bit of both? Because sometimes you'll find out that, you did a great job of killing all their bounty, but then you go back to your base with 3 sheep, or vice versa, where you have a ton of sheep, but they're sitting at like 400 bounty and they're going to have a heavy snowball.
Yeah, I guess it definitely depends on the map, right? When you're playing on a map like Highview, where it's really hard to deny the Roost to get to that 250 bounty mark anyways, I think it's probably more important to also have a good eye for the sheep. But on some maps where it can actually be a little bit up in the air, if the Roost are going to be able to get to that 250 bounty mark, it's probably more important to deny the bounty. But in this case, it looks like MarineLorD, with the amount of wolves that are here, should be able to easily reach that 250 bounty mark.
Yeah, we just saw 2 wolves get highlighted over near one of his other scouts, and I believe he is headed back out to another wolf he saw, and just still continuing to climb up this bounty, all onto the food, and he has more than enough gold in the bank to age up already. So you can just tell how well not only the bounty's working for him, but also those 2 hunting cabins we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. This delays him a little bit, though. Those 2 hunting cabins and the wheelbarrow means that he did have to gather some extra wood. Does mean that he's not going to be able to age up right now at the timing that he would usually like to. And now we see VortiX aging up with the Arkan Chapel in not a bad position here. He's going to get the food under his TC, is going to get his gold, is going to get his wood line. Only issue with it is that it's a little bit far forward. And from the looks of it, I think he might be looking for not a second TC, but a fast castle age play here.
Yeah, I mean, that's typically where you'll see the chapel heavier onto the wood, and definitely always kind of want food in there, but gold a lot of times isn't prioritized unless you really are going for that higher castle play, and that's exactly where we're seeing this here now. And not only is it gold near it, it's on top of the gold vein, essentially.
Looking back at what we've seen so far in the tournament, I don't think we've seen a single time the 2TC HRE strat working out against the Ruse so far. So maybe this is a good decision from VortiX, potentially going for... Oh, just as I say, he's going to go for stone.
Yeah, you heard me laugh a little bit right as you're saying that. I saw a couple of blue little dots on the mini-map headed on over to that stone. So just focusing the chapel, I guess, for that initial wood line, acting as a lumber camp, saving himself that drop-off point.
Yeah, Proud out of position though right now. He's not in the Archon, isn't getting the added benefit from that right now. He's gonna try and torch down a hunting cabin there with his scouts, but I mean it's right next to villagers. They can just repair it. Looks like he's now switching it off to the other hunting cabin, potentially with his scouts.
Ooh, and 3 scouts here will be enough to cause a little bit more than just a thorn in the side of VortiX. He might actually have to react to this every now and then, just pull one of the lower health villagers back. And you see how it also makes this pathing annoying at times as well.
Yeah, definitely an annoyance. I mean, it could have been worse remembering how it was a couple of seasons ago when scouts still had multiple attacks, like they attack damage. Right now they're only at 1 attack, but they used to have 2 with the same attack speed that they have now. It used to be really, really easy with them to actually kill villagers early on.
And with animation canceling. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. But MarineLorD moving out to the stone as well, as he has a couple bills moving out that way. And the militia have been called and are headed on over. But where will they be able to hit first?
I mean, the gold is exposed, the wood line is exposed. He knows where the Archon Chapel is, so he's going to know where to strike in regards to that. VortiX is going to have enough stone here now in order to make his secondary TC. Still lacking a little bit of wood, but now the militia come in here at a pretty bad timing for VortiX. He's going to potentially fight with the villagers against them. Still missing a little bit of wood now to build that TC. I think villagers going forward.
I think not only are they going forward to fight, they're going forward to drop this TC, as he has enough resources and only 2 militia can easily pull out the shivs. MarineLorD not looking out at home, loses that scout that he has, as micro was being utilized elsewhere.
VortiX, excellent micro here, pulls the villagers against the militia, does have to worry about that one villager, not able to body block for him, loses his first villager of the game. Does know that he won't be able in time to save it. That hurts. That hurts. And now the militia, finally, they expire just a little bit earlier. And it could have been so good for him. But isn't the case here. Is going to lose a villager. And now it's going to be 22 to 21 eco units in this game. VortiX still with the HRE. Obviously, he's still getting that inspiration buff. And he's not going to be too fussed by this. I think he's still on a really good track right now to go up to the next age. He just can't invest too much right now into the feudal age. Maybe a couple of spearmen with the barracks just to play it a bit more safe. Oh, militia once again on that TC. It's still not finished yet. This is just, when you're not playing as China, these TCs just feel so slow to build. And finally he gets it up and is going to be able to deal with these militia, but they still cause a little bit of idle time in that TC.
I was about to say, I saw the militia coming across, and I was like, oh, surely the TC will be up in time. And then I was like, oh, it's still only 3/4 of the way. It just takes so long, and that was due to one of those nerfs, I feel like 4 patches ago.
Yeah, now, I mean, the scouts from VortiX, they've been quite active there. They killed a scout on the opposing side, and now they are also about to get a hunting camp there. Looks like now there are some militia being called here just to get rid of them. Just to be like, shoosh, go away. And second TC here from MarineLorD. Not on deer or any other food source, but he is getting stone for 3rd TC potentially. Maybe a bit too greedy.
Is he gonna? He's gonna pull that boar into that TC, right? He's not going on the berries first. I hope at least. And yeah, definitely looking to be going towards that 3rd TC. And look at VortiX. He is planning on some walls here.
I like the idea here from VortiX right now. I mean, he must have seen how this played out previously in these matches where the Roost player is just able to put up a lot of delay on that HRE player. And he knows that he doesn't want to get too delayed. Now the boar, as you said, gets pulled here by MarineLorD. I mean, to his own mother.
One Vil just constantly has been going back and forth to repair that hunting cabin that the scouts have caused their annoyance on. Stables was being dropped, then canceled, and let's see what MarineLorD has planned as far as military goes.
Militia. It's gonna be militia once again in the wood line. Just expiring. Okay.
I think those are
gotta be safe.
Yeah, those are the 2 that pushed away the scout. He wanted to try to do something with him, and not quite able to get any damage on except you know, 1 attack on a Vil.
Yeah, MarineLorD is now getting his 30C out on his large deer spot. It's going to be having good food income from there. Finally managed to clean up one of the scouts that VortiX had. VortiX still has one more scout out and about, getting information out on the map. And MarineLorD finally now putting up his own stable. Did cancel it earlier just in order to get that TC up a little bit quicker. Is now going to be placing it and going to try to just make a couple of knights to further delay VortiX. But VortiX right now, he's looking in a good spot. For now, he does have the villager lead with that second TC. He just can't let himself get delayed too much. Now putting up another large wooden palisade wall here. But MarineLorD, he's out on the map and he's going to wall in the relics.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those things that if you're going with that extra TC and going with that extra economic play, you're giving up your castle age timing. So you have to do something to adhere for that. And what does he do? It's walling up the relics, because those walls, they're not just those little weak walls of other civilizations. Those are the wooden Bruce palisade walls that have that extra health to them.
Militia now out on field are going to be able to delay these walls from coming out. And I mean, the militia, they're really fast. I think they're clocking in at like 1.4 movement speed and then some. And yeah, they're going to be able to catch up to these villagers relatively efficiently. But VortiX, he does have that... actually, only 1.25. Okay, never mind. They're not too fast. At VortiX, he does have wheelbarrows, so his villagers are going to be fine from here on out. But now knights are also on the field, and this becomes a little bit dangerous here with the deer being so far forward. The knight could definitely try and take some of them.
Yeah, especially because VortiX is trying to go up to castle, and what does he need? He needs a little bit more food to go up to castle, and that is exactly what could be denied with those militia, but instead, they're just burning that mill. Ooh, that is such a crucial pickup for that horseman, as one of the relics does not get walled in at least. Oh no! A villager does get picked off, and a second one with it. So good job using that, burning the mill as a bait. And the regnance is being built, is going up. MarineLorD should be able to spot it out and potentially pressure that as well.
Yeah, right now VortiX is trying to build that Regnitz Cathedral, but the knight is there, and the knight is hiving right on top of the wood line there. This is going to be really tough for VortiX to get that up. He doesn't have a barracks yet. He doesn't have a way to make any spearmen right now, and he definitely needs to against these knights right now that are on the field. MarineLorD, he is making spearmen of his own right now, and these spearmen are going to be able to deny any of the military that VortiX has access to right now. Now VortiX, he's made a barracks. He's finally pushing out some of his own spears. Desperately going to need them if he wants to get any relics here out on the field.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he is going to even be able to get any. Even once those spears come up, you can get your mass, yeah, but you will need to get your locations, and that's before MarineLorD hits his own castle timing, who he's more than halfway there and has military out.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? At this point in time, the 30C is starting to pay off, especially since MarineLorD managed to kill 2 more villagers here from VortiX now in the meantime, and right now he's sitting at 56 villagers compared to 47. Not sure if maybe there's even been some idle time now from VortiX, as that scaled quite fast. And oh, Horseman able to take the villager down. Relic once again not getting walled in.
Yeah, another huge pickup there by VortiX, and has secured, I say secured, he is bringing back at least one relic. There is a knight and spears in hot pursuit. Should be able to close it down. Prelate going to try to throw it on in, but not going to be close enough, not enough arm strength to do so.
And now the high trade house is going to be going up here for MarineLorD. And on this map, you can get some really juicy high trade houses up. And VortiX going to try his best in order to defend his wood line here. It's going to pull some of the villagers. And now, high trade house, what are we going to have? I'm guessing it's going to be 180.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it's like he dropped it over to the corner, so he's missing a lot of those extra trees that fill it on in. But it still is the roost on the pit. So I don't think it's 200. I definitely don't. I would say 170 to 170 we'll go with.
All right, undercutting me slightly, and it's going to be 137. Okay, so not the best high trade house. Definitely better than some others that we've seen so far. I think we saw like 80 gold per minute high trade houses so far in this game, in these sets. So it's not the worst, not the best, but it's still definitely going to be decent. Almost 2 relics here that he's getting from that. Prelate on the run.
Almost able to micro it back to where his spears were able to take out the knight, but not quite able to do so. Militia called yet again, causing some more idle time over here, causing some more annoyance. Let's see if they will be able to pick up any more kills now that they're castle age.
Nightmares is starting to build right now for VortiX, but he's almost 20 villagers behind right now, and it's starting to become worrisome for him. He's not been able to gather up too much of these relics, and now MarineLorD, he's got his monastery out, and he's going to be trying to gather up some of these relics, and behind that, he's making archers and crossbows right now, and VortiX so far doesn't have anything to respond to that.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to get these walls down yet again. MarineLorD already has a wall down to block it once these do get completed, so he will have to kind of build on around that. Also trying to burn down some of these palisade walls, but as I mentioned, quite tanky.
And now fight's about to happen, or rather, could have happened, but VortiX does realize that he can't fight that too many spearmen right now out on the field for MarineLorD, and this Knights just can't take the fight here.
No, not even close, and that mass of MarineLorD sticking together, so if the Knights try to charge in on each other, the spears are already and waiting there for him, and he has that mass ready and available.
Looks like now VortiX actually has some Landsknecht in the queue, and I'm not sure if that's going to be the correct answer here, because MarineLorD, he already has archers and crossbowmen out in the field, and with the micro that he's so known for, definitely should be in a position to take those out.
Yeah, you can either get a nice charge onto those lands and get a ton of damage on, or just snipe them on with your archers. As we're already seeing the first one, take a decent bit of damage.
Yeah, single archer shot already costing a lot of HP here. Now the spearmen are going to be caught off guard, so not going to be able to pick up these relics. First relic is being picked off by MarineLorD. Second one is about to get picked off as well, and looks like this could be a game where VortiX only gets a single relic.
Yeah, and you can't forget all this time MarineLorD sitting on 3 TCs, but a fight that definitely is going in VortiX's favor. Even though he is mass knights, he took down the majority of those spears with a little bit of help with some prelate healing.
Yeah, but now at the same time, he's definitely going to have to focus on top of these 2 relics that are still out on the map, but I feel like he might be a little bit too late, as I see one of the warrior monks on the map moving out towards that relic, and is going to be able to pick it up, and it looks like MarineLorD actually changes his mind and sends another warrior monk to the other sacred site before bringing back the other relic that he just held, and yeah, this means that very likely VortiX is only going to be on a single relic here this game, with the H3 and the Regnitz Cathedral.
Yeah, you can see he's headed to this relic that he wanted to pick up, but MarineLorD already had. He has repositioned the walls in the south to hopefully get those up, so he might just be able to give himself this opportunity to boom for the long game. Oh, no gate was built. And now the military's close for VortiX, so this actually might have been a little bit of an oversight for MarineLorD, who might just lose one of these relics that he shouldn't have.
But now MarineLorD, he's sending all of his military over towards that side where VortiX is on. VortiX, he only has 3 Landsknechte, one of them actually a little bit exposed here, together with the spearmen, but is going to be taken down easily by these knights. I say just about any second now. There he goes. Landsknechte is going to be going down now.
Knights trying to charge back around on the other side. They do pick up a knight for themselves, regrouping back together. VortiX does have prelates here in this fight. He has some lower health units, so the healing could just do a little bit of a benefit, but not as much as it used to be.
Unit's about to clash down. Now, VortiX, he could engage this from 2 angles, which makes it a little bit harder for MarineLorD to micro this. But he does have the crossbows and a good enough number to do some serious damage to these knights. And now MarineLorD is going to try and look towards getting that prelate down. Now, Warrior Monk is coming from the opposite side. Now, this is going to have to be the moment where VortiX will have to fight. Now, Warlow is coming in, but Warrior Monks, a religious unit, cannot be converted.
Yes, the Warrior Monk laughs in the face of the Prelate, especially because it's a decent combat unit. It has a decent little bit of base damage, as you see there now. Picks up the relic for himself, and MarineLorD is laughing about that whole exchange, as now he is the one who has secured up 4 relics to VortiX's 1.
And it seems like VortiX, he's kind of surrendered the relic control now at this point. Isn't going to keep competing about it. And, I mean, his food economy is looking really good right now. It's looking better than MarineLorD's. MarineLorD is going to have to make his food transition now, while VortiX seems to already have been well underway this entire time. Question is VortiX going to be able to hold on now? Because MarineLorD, he's at an almost 40 villager lead currently.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, there's been, all the action has been on Well, I was going to say VortiX's side of the map, but it's basically been about all of the relics and here and there at VortiX's side. None on MarineLorD's, which he's the one who went 3TC. He's the one who went for that extra bit of eco. And again, this is just why that Roost versus HRE matchup has tilted so far in the favor of Roost. It's the militia causing all this extra idle time and delay and annoyance and kills.
I've said before, and I'll say it again, I still think HRE in this matchup should go for the really, really greedy 3TC play. It's just, if the Ruse goes for 2TC, it's really, really tough to punish if you go for 1TC with HRE. It's better to just be on the greedy side and go for 3TC, in my opinion, but I haven't seen that so far from these top players. Now the crossbows are going to be moving in onto these farms, killing a lot of villagers here. Villagers that VortiX really needs, as he's already behind in villager count. Now, little fights breaking out here, but the composition from MarineLorD is just looking really, really solid. Landsknecht getting focused down immediately, and now it's just a skirmish between these two players. Who can micro better on top of these crossbows? Looks like the infantry is just mashing against the infantry from VortiX here, but he does have to retreat as the damage output from the crossbows is just too high.
Yeah, the defender's advantage does not matter enough there, especially when MarineLorD has this many extra units and the quality of them. He's dropping 4 rams. He's ready to end this game. Against HRE, you need more than 2 rams, and MarineLorD knows that, so he drops 4.
Could even drop another 4 with the amount of wood that he has in the bank. But just making more and more units right now, not even looking for Imperial Age. He does have more than enough food for it. It's only lacking the gold right now, getting Boreas Fortitude right now, even though he doesn't have too much cavalry out on the field. But it's going to be really helpful for him in the long run. I think though that he could have used that gold instead for aging up, but now the Rams are going to be starting to siege upon the production buildings here from VortiX. VortiX has very limited gold access. The gold in the top is completely cut off right now from MarineLorD. By MarineLorD, and the gold in the middle could definitely be sieged down as well, because there's no wall on the opposite side.
And MarineLorD spots it out, so immediately redirects the Rams away from the production buildings over to that gold in the middle, and the main clash is about to go down yet again. Knights immediately get picked on out. Horsemen able to get us around onto the crossbows. Is this just, again, a perfect timing push from VortiX with his military mass, closing in on the ranged units with his cavalry, and his lands and spears clean up that front line? This might have just been the fight that he needed to push back in this.
Indeed, so it seems the Landsknechte were left alive for long enough, and this is going to be a cleanup here right now for VortiX. MarineLorD, though, aging up behind this with the high armory. This is going to be rough for VortiX to hold, though, in the oncoming seconds. Right now, I mean, his food economy is looking solid. The gold economy, he finally has gold access again. But this game is still very much up in the bounce right now.
Yep, Rams just taking down the walls before they get taken on out. But this is where VortiX needs to make this timing go on to MarineLorD's base, because he is at a massive deficit right now.
Exactly, he does have a military lead right now, but MarineLorD is remassing again behind this. He's making archers, which haven't been upgraded to Veteran C yet, so they're not the most efficient right now. VortiX needs to make a transition happen right now after he cleared all of these crossbows into men-at-arms. That's not happening right now. He's making mostly spears instead of horsemen. It's going to have to find a lot of damage now. The H-up has come through, so he knows that MarineLorD just invested a lot of resources into that. He's still behind massively when it comes to the economy, but this is his time right now to make something happen. The food transition hasn't fully been there for MarineLorD yet. Units still mostly pathing around the infantry here, not really taking a lot of these fights, and MarineLorD really just focusing down all of the Landsknechte as well as he possibly can, and gets a lot of them down, but there's still enough of them to take down all of the infantry here. Now horsemen are pushing further in. All the production right now for MarineLorD is forward and could be sniped, but oh no, the militia!
The militia! The OP unit gets called on out, and the militia pushing on forward. He's fine with all of those dying. Just provide the time he needs to hold. Provide the time he needs to sustain from this push, from his fight he lost so hard.
Now there's 20 militia out on the field. This can be the equalizer. This could be everything that MarineLorD needs now in order to come back into this game. Getting even more and more upgrades. Elite archers now also on the way. Elite spearmen has finally come in, so now the spearmen are going to be tank here, going to be doing more damage, going to be trading way better than before. VortiX is still making so many units right now, but he doesn't have the resource bank to keep that up for long.
Not only that, he's about to lose out on the gold, and instead he just loses out on the game as we are going into game number 3 now with MarineLorD able to tie up the series.
Yeah, here we go. And we can see it once again here in the villager graph. Just a 3TC play working out so well here for MarineLorD. Just the scaling of the villagers being so good for him here. Also, he was able to just keep on the pressure for such a long time with the militia, with the Kremlin. VortiX, he tried his best to get up early walls on just in order to keep the militia out. Didn't manage to get the walls up in the most crucial spot. And in the end, he just wasn't quite able to do it.
Yeah, what a crazy back and forth game there, but went how we expected as far as the civs go, but that doesn't always happen as we saw with game number 1. But with those two behind us, game number 3 will be the big deciding factor, the exciting one with all of it on the line.
Exactly. So we're gonna be having an ultimate match point here in this series between MarineLorD and VortiX. Let's look at what civilizations are being picked here. And oh no, it's gonna be the English from MarineLorD against the Mongols from VortiX. Now the map is slightly Mongol favored, but the English are just such an oppressing civilization when you play them against the Mongols. It means that one of the main strategies from the Mongols isn't going to work here with the tower rush. That's just not going to be happening here.
Yeah, usually like you set up your trade with the tower rush because you cause so much reaction and kind of this like walling in of the opponent's base because they have to get out of this tower rush and break out, that then your trade becomes online. But English, they got those short bows. They don't have to worry. One thing that they can you can take advantage of with English is their immobile armies, but they like to stay together, which means if they can kind of have those groupings stay together and cut off your trade, could just be devastating.
Yeah, exactly. This is all what this is always about with the English. Just this heavy fuel age engagement. Like the army that English can just put up here in the fuel age. It's just going to be really tough to deal with when you're playing as the Mongols. When the Mongols go for archers, the English also go for archers, and the English archers are just straight up better. And yeah, it's going to be a rough position here for VortiX. I mean, trade definitely being an option. But to secure that, it's going to be really tough. I mean, Wetlands is still going to be a map which somewhat favors Mongols. We saw it earlier from Beastie, how he played the Mongols. It went really well for him. Even though earlier on in the game against the French, Recon really did put up a fight. It looked really close at times. Beastie did manage to make it work. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how VortiX plays this. I mean, VortiX playstyle is very different from Beastie. So we could see a lot of different approaches here in these games. And yeah, going to be interesting to see how VortiX is going to try and play this one.
Yeah, one of the key things against the English is really those initial earlier on engagements, whether it's MarineLorD staying 1TC and having, you know, a couple of those longbows come out. Well, you really don't want that longbow number to start climbing on up. So if you take 1 or 2 bad trades against the English, it is that much more detrimental compared to some of these other civilizations. But now we're going to go ahead and check in on some of these games that have been going on this weekend on for as you can see, round 10, 11, and 12, and just kind of give you some updates on how those series have been playing on out.
Yeah, exactly. Here we can see all of the sets in the rounds that we've had here so far. So Beastie, we saw him earlier beating Recon 2-0. Right now we see MarineLorD in a 1-1 against VortiX in their current set. Demu did lose 2-0 to Wham. B right now, the set versus Numidan still is to be played. Sort of won 2-0 against Lenok, which is quite nice here. Puppy Paw beating Louis MT 2-0. iMagic versus Cat still to be played. Lucifron 2-0 versus Certain. And yeah, some games from the other rounds have also been played already. So 3B is 2-1 against iMagic. Lucifron 2-0 versus Louis MT. Recon right now is behind 1 game against Louis. And then Lenok is leading a game against 3D Cat.
Yeah, so giving y'all that good bigger picture update, and shout out to the beautiful you know, setups and images and galleries that all of the production team has behind this, as it is definitely nice when you have access to all that. And now we're back in it, and you can see this countdown. We are about to get on into this game number 3.
Yeah, initiating overlay, and this is what it's all about this game. This is going to be match point for both players. So is it going to be MarineLorD? Is it going to be VortiX? Mongols versus English, in theory, is English favored. But on a map like Wetlands, I think like Mongols can definitely make something happen here. So going to be interesting to see how exactly this is going to work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, with the market being in the corner, if you just get 1 or 2 trips, I see Puppy Paul do it where you don't fully invest in a trade. You invest into 4 traders. You double produce twice, and that's kind of it, and let that be your Castle Age kind of, you know, leg on up, and then utilize that timing of Castle.
Yeah, I think usually that doesn't work though against English because you need that double production early on just to mass on military. But we're about to see how exactly it's going to be played out, as we can already hear those in-game sounds, and that means it's time for our game number 3 in this set.
Yes, it is, and here we are for the game decider. We have MarineLorD spawning in on this northwestern side as the English in the color red, and on the opposite side, it's VortiX as the Mongols looking in at the base. He gets a beautiful spawn with the wood line next to it, although it's an odd shaped one, and next to the gold as well.
Yeah, so overall, nice TC spawn for him. Where's the UV position right now? I'm not seeing...
Far west.
Oh, it's very far away. Okay. Yeah, that's a... that's... it still fits on the same screen. It still fits on the same screen, so that's fine, right? If it's still on the same screen, he's safe. Is that a rule that we can... agree on?
And I was about to say, villagers hanging out there, so it will be some Dark Age military coming out. VortiX wants to be the aggressor, wants to be the one to force a reaction, and MarineLorD, he perfectly scouts out the stables coming out, and so we'll know how he wants to respond here now.
Yeah, that scouting was in a straight line towards VortiX's base, and now he knows that there's going to be a stable coming out. Means that MarineLorD very likely won't be able to be out on that shoreline fish for too long. Then again, still, these are English villagers, and it's only going to be early horsemen, so could be that MarineLorD will still be able to sustain his units out there on the map.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, this map, everyone loves the shoreline fish. It is the fastest food gathering in the game, so you have to be taking that or else you will be at a deficit. Some civilizations are a little bit better at taking it than others. You know, first 2 that come to mind would be Mongols and French, and VortiX, sure enough, he's on the Mongols, able to just roll around those girs and not having to drop multiple ones if needed.
Yeah, exactly. And now horsemen are going to be produced here. So VortiX is going to be moving out, also gathering gold right now. So he is also working on his own age up. Still gathering stone wood right now. Not sure if it's going to be for pasture or just that really, really early market. Going to be interesting to see how exactly he's going to be macroing his way up, if it's going to be at a competitive timing, because MarineLorD, he's getting really, really close to age up right now.
Yeah, and those horsemen, I mean, I guess they'll deny over some of that shoreline fish, which, like I was just talking about, you want to be on, but at least he has gotten to the point where he needs to. As the English, you also are more defensive, so what is that, with 6 vills, you might just be able to pull out those short bows and at least you deter that first raid.
Here we go. More and more horsemen are going to be coming in. I mean, it's 2 horsemen that will produce, but they actually did manage to force away all of the villagers here from the shoreline fish. I think MarineLorD could have probably just tried to keep shooting at them, kite a little bit, and still be out on that shoreline fish. But it looks like he's perfectly content with just being out on the sheep here right now under his TC. Aging up with 4 villagers on the council hall. Could potentially be, though, that the mill is going to catch fire, and that does mean that a good bit of bounty is going to be going the way of VortiX, and this is a good age-up timing here for VortiX.
Yeah.
With the silver tree right now, not too far behind.
And just 2 horsemen, but more importantly, he'll have that stables up already. You are going to need that stables up against the English, so it's not really like he's, you know, delaying or causing too much of, you know, this thrown away resources, because he's going to be using that for the whole entire game.
Oh, sending a villager out to try and repair the mill. Gets repelled, though. H-up is going to be coming in soon, so then the longbows are going to be able to focus the horsemen away. Also drops the barracks now, so it's going to be a relatively aggressive play here from MarineLorD, as you should, playing against the Mongols. With the trade being there, it's always something that you have to worry about, and now the longbowmen are being produced. But the mill did catch fire, and so the bounty did go the way of VortiX. So this was overall still very much worth it, I believe, for him.
Oh, and the first longbow, both of those horsemen immediately, canceled the second attack because it got into TC range, so not actually a trade you want to take. And the mill barely staying alive, which MarineLorD's happy about because he wants those shoreline fish.
That was really close. It almost went down to the burning itself, but no, it does get repaired in time. However, might mean, though, that it could burn a second time, right?
That is absolutely true, but a little harder to burn the second time when you have a barracks and a council hall right there next to it.
VortiX once again double produced some of the horsemen, but MarineLorD, he is mixing in some spears in his army composition. VortiX desperately needing some archers now as soon as he can. He definitely needs more villagers on wood right now. Only has 5 villagers on wood. Most of the villagers are still over on the food right now. He's not going to be able to really fend this off too much with only horsemen. Oh, villager getting caught there. What was he doing?
I have no idea.
That was, yeah, that one was way out of his area. He should not have been there.
Maybe he should have just taken that villager and gone and tried to like wall the market or something, maybe, instead of headed back home right into the military mass of VortiX and just throws that little buddy away.
Yeah, something like that. But now this is actually a good spot here right now for VortiX. He has archers coming in from his base. They are double produced, so immediately going to have a good army mass from them. He's going to be able to catch off the longbows here. Spearman not in range right now. Does catch a longbowman here for free now. And behind this, VortiX, he does have 4 archers in his base. He's going to be able to take a fight there.
Yeah, and so military from MarineLorD needs to push back, or else it will just continue to find itself a little bit more out of position. And I talked about it before the game started. I was like, you don't want to take bad trades against the English, or else you'll start to snowball. Well, VortiX, he has been doing exactly that and not taking bad trade. He has been taking some winning trades so far, and a perfect micro again, just right as the spears pop on out to try to dive his horseman, he pulls right on back.
Spearman will actually be caught here by the horseman. Oh, do get some hits out. Will have to retreat. Horseman is really, really low on HP. Does get to the scout, though. And scout being down is really, really crucial here right now, because now the vision in the stealth forest just won't be there anymore for MarineLorD, and he's going to have to invest into another scout. Question is, will he make a stable for it? Or is he going to make a scout from his TC? That could cause his TC quite a bit of idle time.
Yeah, I will say that as the English, you have to have that scout, especially when it's maps such as this with a good amount of stealth forest. Great job by VortiX spotting out the stone right as MarineLorD heads on over to it. And so we'll know that a secondary TC is coming here soon.
Yeah, and MarineLorD, I mean, the timing could be really, really awful for him here, but he is luckily enough keeping his army around there, meaning that he won't have to be too worried here. I mean, with the spear and with the defender's advantage, he should definitely be able to hold this. Spearmen are in position. VortiX will realize, and he will have to pull back for now.
Yeah. That con, though, slowly adding up on all that damage he has done to those spearmen. It's so annoying how fast that starts to add up. VortiX really doing a great job of being the aggressor, which will allow his traders to pay off once he really starts getting that going.
It's 2 horsemen, though, for free, with the longbow mass, with the range advantage. And, I mean, right now, the economy looking really good for VortiX. The trade is running as we speak. Yeah, that's a lot of gold that he's going to be getting here. Question is he going to reinvest that immediately into military? Feels like he kind of has to, at least for a little bit. Because the army mass from MarineLorD can be kind of scary here. Now he is investing into blacksmith upgrades, which MarineLorD does not have right now, as he is rushing up a second TC behind this.
Yeah, this is one of those that if VortiX does use all of this extra eco he's getting from the trade into military, it puts MarineLorD at a kind of scary situation, because he's still on all those, you know, secondary food resources as expected, but he invested in that secondary TC, so that's got that kind of timing payoff that he really needs. And a great
good idle timing focus. Oh my god. Spearman going down.
And then leaving the longbows to have the horsemen just circle on them. arrow utilized for those horsemen. Short bows even pulled out as well, but longbows are losing their mass and losing their mass pretty fast there.
More spearmen going down as well at the same time. VortiX maybe overstaying his welcome a little bit here. Does get another longbow. Is gonna potentially lose another one of his horsemen. No, is gonna stay alive. And overall, really good trade right now from VortiX here when it comes to the military. Lots of destruction value here for him. And he's gonna get the mills.
Yeah. So not only does he get a bunch of military kills, he gets a bunch of idle time, and he turns that into denied mills, which is extra bounty raid resources for himself if he burns them down.
Could he decide to do so? Archer is going to be fighting against the longbowman here for now. Could, I believe, though, still prioritize getting some of these mills down. It's just a lot of resource that you don't want to leave out on the table. He does now have enough horsemen to burn down relatively quickly. Still has the archer event, but looks like he doesn't want to press on for too much longer around there yet. 10 traders right now, and I mean, the eco lead. 10 more eco units than MarineLorD has right now, and it was a lot of idle time that VortiX was able to force there with that early army engagement.
Yeah, not only that, he's got the military prowess. He does get the first raid bounty on. There's 12 longbows and 2 spears, and there's 14 archers on the other side. I'm not even including the horsemen. So pretty solid numbers here for VortiX, especially if he can just keep this pressure and aggression up.
Oh, archers out of position though for VortiX. The horsemen are diving by themselves. It's going to lose quite a bit of the mass there. One horseman being really low HP right now. He's going to have to retreat for now, but behind this, his economy is looking really solid right now. And if this continues, I mean, he's going to be the one to click up to the next stage first.
Yeah, so this is where it is about to start opening on up. VortiX, though, is probably the one who is going to be thinking about Castle Age first, as he's had so much of this trade going for quite a bit of time now.
Yeah, behind this MarineLorD right now, he's just building more and more longbows. Maybe he's trying to get to like a crucial mass and then push out onto the trade. If he gets one big raid with the trade now, it could be good for him. But now, horsemen coming in once again. There are a couple of spearmen in the trade right now. But spearmen, they don't do bonus damage to traders, so not a lot happening here. Horsemen, though, getting another villager kill here. Maybe another one.
Ooh, and just
so bad.
Such a crucial pickup here. VortiX is just doing all the necessary plays that he needs to.
Yeah, gets even more villager kills here. Now 4 villagers have gone down so far for MarineLorD, and VortiX sitting at a 14, and he calls GG! VortiX takes it!
The first series loss for MarineLorD. He doesn't even want to extend the game. Sometimes you just get that feeling. Sometimes you just know how a game is going, and MarineLorD had that one here and just gives it on over to VortiX.
Yeah, now you look at this. Now villager count looks relatively even, but that's not with the traders included. If we look at the economy count, that's where we can actually see the economy between these two players. And the economy count, look at that, solidly in VortiX's hands. And I mean, MarineLorD, he's at that kind of level. I mean, all of these players are at that kind of level where they know if they have a chance in this game. And MarineLorD, with all the losses he took so far, knew that he didn't have a chance left in this one. He taps out, and VortiX wins the first set against MarineLorD that any player has won so far in this entire tournament.
Yeah, and you can just really see how that snowball went. VortiX able to take that really good trade, and just what he did after that was invested a lot more into his economy behind it. A lot more traders that then allowed his eco to just go booming through the roof. Pretty sure MarineLorD spotted out with those couple of spearmen that we just saw attempting to take down the traders, and he was like, that's too much for me to be dealing with over here as the English.